Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about Hawkeye, episode 4 of Hawkeye. But we will be diving into some mild spoilers for episode 4 as well as the rest of the series so far. So if you haven't seen the show, please click away and come back after you've seen the episode. I'll give it a few more seconds to click away. Now let's dive into some spoilers. Well, mild spoilers. Because this episode, I enjoyed it, but I felt like there wasn't as much to talk about as there was in the other ones. But let's talk about it at least a little bit. And something I have to talk about is the interactions, because that's kind of what it starts with. And I didn't mind the interaction. I enjoyed them. First of all, Kate and Clint are like awesome together. Like they're just so much fun together, especially because one's like extremely outgoing. Kate's like outgoing, jokes, and tries to play off everything as if she's cool and stuff like that, like she says in the opening scene with her parents or with her mom and with Jack, that she's like, she was so cool, she wasn't like, oh my gosh, Hawkeye, even though we know that wasn't the case. And then Clint's just like the complete opposite, where he's like super serious, doesn't make any faces, like his face is always straight, which that's gotta be hard shooting, right? Like, right? There's no way Jeremy Renner didn't smile at least once during some of these scenes, but you know, whatever. They talk about how she explains to her mom and Jack that she's partners with Clint, even though Clint says they're not partners. Then she corrects and says friends. He says they were not friends either. But she does continue to help Clint, and Jack thanks him for saving the world. And her mom thinks that she's helping him with an Avengers level threat, which he's more of a street level threat because of the Tracksuit Mafia. But then again, if this is all connected to the Kingpin like people think, then he could be an Avengers level threat. But we also know that we can't just go based off what people are theorizing, because, well, look what happened with Mephisto and WandaVision. What if we have another problem like that again? But yeah, moving on. Kate eventually goes over to where Clint is staying, and she says that they can still enjoy the holidays somewhat, even though they have to also try to take down the Tracksuit Mafia. They do some fun stuff. They set up a Christmas tree. They decorate it. She brings over a bunch of Christmas movies, including the Santa Claus, which I see how you are, Disney. You make sure the Disney movie was on top and in front for everyone to see. Easiest to see. I'm just saying. Disney Plus. Disney movies on top, but you know, maybe it's just a coincidence, but I doubt it. And they have fun. We get this fun banter back and forth between the two. Clint says that he can throw an ornament and knock someone unconscious from a far distance, and Kate says he doesn't believe him, so he throws the ornament. It does this cool thing, and it turns off the TV, and then he teaches Kate how to do it, and she's eventually able, after multiple tries and after almost hitting Lucky, she's able to turn the TV back on, which was cool to see this, because in the comics, in Matt Fraction's comics, Clint does train her with like the bows. They also talk about the trick arrows, which Clint explains that once the trick arrows are gone, they're gone, so you have to get them back. And then we get an awesome reference, at least in my opinion, to the Matt Fraction comic books, where Kate says, well, maybe we just need boomerang arrows, because then it'd come right back to us, and we wouldn't have to go out of our way to look for him. Clint says that that's a terrible idea, because it would come back at you, and it could, you know, stab you. And Kate says, well, yeah, but you just have to, you know, like, dodge. But what's interesting about this is that the boomerang arrow is an actual arrow they had in the comic books, in the Matt Fraction comic books, and it actually was something where they were arguing about it once again. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, in the comic books, it was the other way around, where Kate was like, a boomerang arrow is the dumbest arrow ever, and Clint's like, yeah, no, it's not, because in the comic books, which I talk about in my other review about the boomerang arrow as well, because it was during that car sequence in the comic books. What's cool is that I'm hoping I remember correctly. I'm hoping, but he shoots the arrow, it misses, or does it? Hawkeye never misses. So he's like, the bad guy's like, haha, and then it comes back and it hits them in the back. And Clint's like, see, Kate, that's why we have boomerang arrows. Now that was all in the comic books, so who knows if they'll do that in the show, but that's also the series it's based off of, so you never know. Anyway, trying to get back to the show. Remember where I was at. Oh yeah, trick arrows. So they said they're gonna have to recover them. They do this by getting help from their friends, their LARPing friends. But before they do that, they have this talk where they talk about Natasha, because she goes, "What's the best shot you ever taken?" Clint says, "The shot I never took." Then he explains that in Budapest, even though he didn't say Budapest, he just said when he met this girl, he was tasked to kill her, but when he was never able to let go and shoot the arrow at her, and they ended up becoming great friends and co-workers, and she realizes that he's talking about Natasha. And while he's talking about her, they also play the music that they played in Endgame when Natasha fell to her death at Vormir, which, you know, that made it even more emotional than it already was. Because they're talking about Black Widow, and they're just playing this music that they played when she died. It was kind of emotional, I'm not gonna lie. But there's a reason why they keep bringing up Black Widow, because earlier in the episode, when he was talking to, I forget what Kate's mom's name is, but she also mentioned Black Widow was one of the best, and she still ended up dead. But back to where we are. She also asked if Clint lost his parents, family in the blip, his wife and kids. He says yes, he did. And then this is where she figures out that he was Ronin during the blip. And then he says that she should get to bed. She does, and he tries to, but he has flashbacks to Endgame. We see a flashback. We see him training his daughter like we did in Endgame. Then we see him turn into Ronin and him hugging his family after the blip. It was a lot to take in. But the next morning, Kate goes on and she goes to the LARPers, and she asked for their help, and they said only if she does something in return. Clint, meanwhile, goes on and he goes and he talks to the one guy. What's the guy's name? He's like the lead. He's like the Maya's right-hand man. He says how they both know that Maya is not going to stop until she kills Ronin, and he insists that Ronin is dead, so she's chasing a ghost. So he says that he should try to talk her out of it. He leaves. He goes to visit Kate and the LARPers at this one building where they get their arrows back. And they go off on this mission to recover this watch, which we do get some information that Laura knows about it, and she apparently can speak more than one language. And the kids right away apparently know that when she started changing the language, that she was talking to their father, which means they probably know. This probably happened before, where she's helped them out by speaking a different language, so that way the kids couldn't understand. At least that's just my guess. I could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, and then we go on to this fight where they break into this room. Kate helps the old man with his groceries until she says that Avengers talking in her ear, so he thinks she's crazy. But then she breaks into this apartment. She shoots arrows at this this flashing lights, which we will later find out is a silent alarm system. She finds the watch right next to some notes on Clint, revealing the names and ages of his wife and kids, which is terrifying, especially for Clint. And then they both get attacked. Kate gets attacked by Maya in the building, and Clint gets attacked by this masked person on the rooftops. Then the whole fight eventually comes together, and all of them are fighting each other. And this is where Maya eventually leaves, and the masked person is unmasked, and we see that it is Yelana Belova from Black Widow, Natasha's sister, which we knew she was going to be in the show, especially if you watched the end credit scene of Black Widow, where Valentina told her that Clint killed her sister, even though she's a dirty liar, but you know, whatever. this is why she's trying to kill Clint. But she also leaves, even though Clint isn't dead yet. So my guess is that she'll be returning in one of the future episodes. Maybe she'll be like a main character in like the finale. Like maybe in the final episode she'll come back and actually help them out. I don't know, maybe. Well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, then Clint tells Kate that she doesn't want her help. He's being hunted by a Black Widow. He doesn't know that it was Yelena's sister, Natasha's sister yet. But he knows that she's a Black Widow, and he knows that they're in big trouble. So he tells Kate to go home and to leave him alone and to stop helping. And that's where the episode ends. What a way to end the episode, but you know, whatever. So yeah, I think the episode is, I enjoyed it. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. Like, nothing big happened except for Yelana Belova. I think that was the biggest thing that happened. But, you know, besides that, I feel like there wasn't too much. But it was still a really good episode. But I also just love Hawkeye. So that could be why I enjoyed the episode as much as I did. And the whole talking about Natasha with the music that she had, they played, was cool and emotional. And yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. But what did you guys think of the episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? What's your favorite episode so far? We've had 4. We only have 2 episodes left. I'm still hoping we get a season 2. And I really hope Clint can make it back to his family for Christmas. Because every time he has to tell his kids that he won't be there, he'll be a day later. It breaks your heart every time. It's like, just please let Clint be able to get home for Christmas. Please, show, don't make it have to be a whole tragedy like he doesn't make it for Christmas. Please let him, because this is just heartbreaking at this point. But yeah, thank you all so much for taking time to watch. I hope to see you guys in the next video. If you want to see more of me doing reviews, I reviewed the first 3 episodes of Hawkeye, as well as I reviewed all of WandaVision. So I've also reviewed like Black Widow and some other stuff. So if you want to see that, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when I post and go live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.